Hey, what's up guys? In this video we are going to be checking out Vanguard. Now, Vanguard has a special place in my heart as a VST because it's one of the first ones that I kind of started to wrap my head around. It came out in 2004 and it's since been discontinued. And from 2004 till like 2009, it was in a lot of tracks. And it might, like, the sound of it is very familiar, and it's a shame it's not available anymore. They just completely discontinued it and deny its existence. But it's really this special plugin, and I'm gonna kind of go through why that is. So yeah, I'm a fan of this plugin, and it has that welcome patch that we all heard back in the day, and we are just like, whoa, that sounds cool. And designed by Manuel, who, done a lot of synth patches and the Vengeance stuff. It's amazing. And there's just, the usual suspects of presets. Where is it? Oh, DigiWave. So this is just one that's like super famous. It was used in Headhunter's DigiWave. So, and that's kind of how you can go about making tracks is you come across a patch and it inspires you and you make a track out of it, and then you got to name it something, so you just name it the patch that you used, and this is DigiWave, which is pretty cool, and all that sort of thing. So this synth is it's pretty primitive as per today's standards, and that's all well and good, but back in the day, this was like, holy crap! Like, this is amazing, and I'm gonna show you why. So what made me excited about it was that you could make super saws out of more than just saws. Like, I was really big into the super saws back then, and you could stack up the voices here. This is the voice stacking Unison section. So you can stack the voices, 1, 2, and 3 in terms of its oscillators, and then apply Unison, and that sounds all well and good. So basic saw here. We can stack up the voices. You can see it up here, things like that. We can go up to 10. Let's go 7 just for the sake of traditional values. And like, certain things the synth does would not be acceptable today. Like, when you go from 0 to 1, it kind of clicks and engages all the voices. But there's no kind of smooth blend. We've since gone past that. So yeah, check this out. Which is not acceptable. And this has a different kind of Unison detuning profile than what we all are used to today. The age is an interesting value because it's meant to kind of simulate like the oscillator kind of pitch drifting, but it also applies to things being like analog. So we'll just open that up, right? And it sounds kind of different now. We want to have that just a little bit. And it's really finicky to get going. And it has a different flavor. And it's kind of I guess an opposite of what you might come across in, say, Serum, right? Because how the detune works in a lot of modern synths is the detune, once you're at 0, everything is kind of stacked. So I'll just give you an example. And Serum's awesome because you can demonstrate that. I'll make it bigly. So this is a Serum, and like right now, all those saws are stacked. If we bring this up to around 50%, it's a pleasing stack and detune. Once we go beyond that, it becomes a little bit more exaggerated. So it's like not linear. So I'll show you. Right, so 50%, that's very pleasing. Some go beyond that, and that's up to them. But when you go beyond, like, say, I guess 3, you start to get it doesn't make sense. Well, I'm not going to say it doesn't make sense musically. It's used, but it kind of starts to turn into like a swarm of saws. Right, so from here to here is a vast amount, but from here to here it's very, very tiny. So how these detunes work is inspired by the super saw in the JP 8000 or 8080, where it would detune like that, and really clever, and it's very well understood, and people have been doing that ever since then. This is a little bit different. Oh, and even the virus detune has a similar, for the Unison, has a similar characteristic. But yeah, this one's really interesting in that it's a little bit different. Right, let me turn the age off. Right, we just add more voices. Right, that's a little bit too much. Bring it back down. Right, and then we have, something that sounds like a super saw. And, we don't stop there. We have all these other guys to contend with. So how it works is each oscillator is then put together, and then their unison is applied to all 3 at once. They're not separate. So that's something to keep in mind, so you can get 3 times, what is this, 10, 30 I guess oscillators per note or per voice. So that's really interesting. But yeah, we'll bring this down. What are we at? Bring this down 12. Things were really small back then. The font, I mean. Right? Right? But this is all like saws and stuff. We can detune squares. We can get these deep, virusy square waves. Right? And get some really interesting sounds that way. And, there's a bunch of other ones. And these are, I guess, algorithms or wavetables or something. And some have pulse width, which can be applied to an LFO. But, we got FM pulse here. But yeah. That is completely unacceptable in today's terms. But yeah, you get some really interesting sounds, like a lot of these are, I guess, classics, modern classic sounds here. Right, and then you can mix and match them here. Give it some gutturalness. And then we can add some high-pass noise. And the semitones, it doesn't do anything. But yeah, there's that for the oscillator section, which is pretty cool. You can also re-trigger them all at the same time if you're going to do like a bass sort of thing. Or like a zippery effect. Right? And yeah, let's just get into a couple of other things. I want to briefly touch on the transgate, and this is one that I got people excited as well, because before this it was very difficult to, well, it wasn't difficult, but like having it integrated into the plugin, a transgate was pretty cool. Right, and the signal path is left to right, so it's the transgate. Right, let's bring the volume down just a tiny bit. Then we can have that applied to a delay, which has dotted and triplets, which was revolutionary at the time. Give it some feedback. Right, we can even give it some dampening, which is like a EQ tilt. Which in the day was very advanced. And then we have just a reverb, kind of a Toys R Us kind of reverb, but still really good. Also really cool about this plugin, super useful, is the ability to kill the ARP and effect and have them off even when cycling through presets. So you can easily, kill the effects. Right, which is pretty nice. Right, and yeah, that's a trans gate. You can do some stereo transy gate stuff. Right, and that way, it makes an interesting kind of movement or whatever. Then we can, adjust the contour. Or even the mix to make it a little less, gatey. And things like that. Really, really cool. Let's turn that off. I also enjoyed the Arpeggiator in the day. Okay, let's make that. Right, you can even have them at the transgate and the ARP going on at the same time. Right, if you wanted to go nuts. But yeah, basic ARP in there. Then we got glide and the pitch bend, which will, in the mod, which will cause vibration, hardwired the modulation wheel to modulate the vibration, which is cool. But yeah, let's get the init preset open again. There are 3 LFOs, and they're just sine waves. And, you can do all sorts of things with that. Right. Oh, we can also adjust the voice count. And things like that. And yeah, you just cycle through the 3 oscillators here. And this is before we kind of figured out like the drag and drop modulation sort of thing. But yeah, 3 LFOs, 2 envelopes. One is hard mapped to the level. So level 1 usually, that's with a lot of synths, it's usually with your level. And your envelope 2 can modulate the resonance, pulse width modulation, cutoff, and pitch. So, you can get some interesting stuff. With the pitch there and some other things with cutoff, which is cool. Again, like super basic. You're like, that's all you can do? Well, this was the coolest thing ever when it came out. So yeah, cutoff. Or the filter. Different filters, low 6, 12, and 24, which was pretty cool. And then a high pass 6 and 24. And then these interesting kind of band pass. No, not band pass. Format and stuff. Band pass is actually pretty cool once you get the drive going. But yeah, we'll go with format. We need to boost the resonance for it to work. If you wanted to go that route, you got Knotch, which is an interesting phaser effect. And it sounds better with the voices. So we'll have LFO 3 mapped to the cutoff here. We can even re-trigger the LFOs. things like that. Super cool. It's the Knotch, and then the Knotch and the low pass filter, which is like a mix or something. And then you have these interesting band pass and shaper filters. So the resonance, I guess, becomes a distortion kind of module, as far as I know. And things like that. And you can go to town with that. And last but not least, there's only 24 dB per octave band pass. Guess there's no 12. Anyway. So we'll do that, and then we'll just boost the drive. And we can add an ARP. Right, we can do all sorts of stuff, even if I, do that, and I can even do some stuff with the this here. Anyway, that is Vanguard. It's a cozy feeling, and it's one of those amazing kind of blast from the past sort of things. And this came out in 2004, so yeah, 2004. What happened in 2004? I was in grade 11. So yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you learned stuff. Take care and have a good one.